You know, I'm proud of Dr. A so much. My father was a chiropractor, and I always tell the story that, you know, when I was growing up, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, he didn't have a single patient that was diabetic. And today, like I said, 1 out of 2 kids born in America is going to be a diabetic in their lifetime. So the whole thing has just changed significantly. And maybe Dr. Ace, you could start off our session here by telling us what's happened to health in America. What's kind of the state of the union of where people are today?
Well, it's obviously not very good. In the last year in my practice, I've been practicing for 32 years now, and I see between 25 and 35 patients a day. In the last year, it seems like every day in my office in Big Bear and in Redlands, a patient will sit on my table and tell me that a loved one or a dear friend has been diagnosed with cancer of some kind, diabetes, MS, and it's been shocking to me that all of a sudden this is beginning to happen. And this season, you guys are going to be with friends and loved ones at parties, and I can guarantee you that the subject of somebody's health is going to come up. And we are so in the right place at the right time with the right products to make an effect of the purpose of this business being put together is to help other people. And how better can you help them than to make them healthier? And so I am so excited about the team that has been put together here, the products that have been put together. I've been involved about 3 months, and they've already just making leaps of progress in developing the product and making it better and better for all of us. So we are in the right place at the right time with the right products, and people are out there and they're sick and getting sicker because of the things that Maria talked about, genetically modified foods. Discover magazine had a cover of fruits and vegetables a couple of months ago. 80% of our fruits and vegetables are coming from third world countries which don't have any regulation.
And they can hear you up there.
Which don't have any regulation for pesticides or fertilizers, and we're basically eating junk. And again, the right place, the right time with the right products and the right people. It's going to be a great holiday season for all of us, and a fantastic new year for the people in this room that are beginning to help this business grow.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ace. You know, Dr. Ace, one of the things that I think first attracted you is certainly our water product. It's so significant.
No, it was you, George.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. But one of the things that I'm sure you noticed being a chiropractor is that it seems that so many people today don't have proper hydration. Talk to us for just a minute about how important hydration is to our body and our health.
Well, as a chiropractor, I am not a biochemist. I have integrated nutrition into my practice over the years by going to seminars and learning more and more and gaining these silver bullets. So if you go see any healthcare professional, massage therapist, your medical doctor, your chiropractor, your personal trainer, your yoga instructor, everybody says to hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. When George Haber showed me this business, and I told him, no, I don't want to get involved in anything to do with direct sales because I've been exposed to them for 32 years, and especially the latest health fad. I didn't know much about alkaline acid balance. I didn't know much about hydration other than, yeah, you got to drink more water. Well, as I started to research, and the purpose of my research was to find a reason not to do this, I started learning about this acid water, and that when you acidify the water, the molecules get bigger, we don't absorb it, and we don't get hydration from it. And so you can drink tons of this kind of water and still be dehydrated, and that's where everybody is. And again, right product at the right time, and that's where we are.
Now, one of the things that we noticed that a lot of people have from a results standpoint is if they've had some joint inflammation or different things, drinking the water seems to have a significant impact on that. Talk for just a second about how important is the antioxidant property of the water?
Well, absolutely. Water is what moves nutrients through our body, and if it's not in there, because we're not drinking the right kind of water, we can't get nutrients absorbed and into the cells, and inflammation is part of that.
Okay, great. What would you say? Let's shift gears to the Volumina product. What was your first impression when, obviously, in your health studies, you've studied a lot about nutrients and about vitamins and all that. You've had some in your practice. What was it about the Volumina and the colostrum that caught your attention?
What I did was I had my girl Google every ingredient in Volumina, and if you haven't done that, it's pretty interesting because it's just pages and pages on each one of the separate things. Like I said, I'm not a biochemist, but as I begin to read what the ingredients do to the human body, and particularly to the immune system, which is where we're all deficient, and that's why everybody's getting sick, I said, what better, again, trying not to do this business, what better way to help people than to boost their immune system? And so we've got the product, Volumina, which does that, and the product, the alkaline water, which makes it travel around through the body. And again, it's right back to the right place, right time.
Another significant component besides the colostrum that's in the Volumina is the inulin made from chicory fiber. A lot of people, realize their intestinal tract doesn't have the right kind of healthy bacteria anymore, so their body is not really digesting the food and pulling the nutrients out. Well, one of the things that the inulin does from chicory fiber is it's actually a prebiotic. It's not like taking a probiotic you buy that somebody's made in a test tube of bacteria, but it's a prebiotic that puts nutrients in your body, that helps your body make its own natural intestinal flora. So it seems like what happens is because of that, our bodies are able to pull more nutrients out of the food. Because of the fact that we've got alkaline water that hydrates the cell, it's able to pull those nutrients in as well. Talk to us for just a second about how important is that healthy intestinal bacteria?
My understanding with genetically modified food, and particularly wheat products, is that the modified wheat that we eat, the bread, flour, it's actually like taking a grinder with sandpaper and cleaning our intestines and stomach out so that we have no flora left. And that is our first line of defense. So anything that can get in and make a healthier lining in our stomach and intestines so that they can do the job they're designed to do, which is absorb nutrients, that's where we are.
All right, fantastic. One of the things that a lot of people have been excited about when they first saw our Volumina product, in fact, we didn't have any idea that this also had some properties that would work even before you consumed it. Now, we can do some muscle testing things, or applied kinesiology type tests that show people some significant things. Some of you have had a chance. I think one of the first things that George and Peggy showed you was the test with the lemon and then with the wine. In fact, George, when he first tried that with the wine, he didn't notice a difference after like the third bottle of wine. It just was no difference at all. No.
We were on a boat on Big Bear Lake having a great time.
The truth comes out.
All right.
Well, I called you guys while you were on the boat, and it sounded like you were having a good time on the boat. You've done a couple tests with it, but when you do that, if you take a bottle of cheap wine even, and you pour 2 glasses, and you take this and just expose the vibrational frequency of this to one of those glasses, it totally changes it. And as we've talked about, everything in life has a frequency. The lights are probably not a healthy frequency. If you go to Iowa, you'll see the cornfields, and they'll be like 6 feet high, and then there's a high power line, and it goes to about 4.5 feet high. Then it goes back to 6 feet high. I know that Nike has studied for about 10 years. They can have like a runner in Kenya, Africa, these long distance runners that'll run like 100 miles. And if they run in their bare feet on the dirt, they have like 25% more endurance. So there's something that happens with a healthy, natural frequency. And one of the things that a lot of people have done is some of the the muscle testing with this, where they can really notice. I mean, you can have like a 90-pound woman up here, and you'll have her stand up straight, and you'll pull down on her arm until she loses balance, and you put this in her hand, and it's like she's turned into a block of granite. I mean, it's very significant. So there's something happening there. Maybe explain to us. I mean, some of these tests are radical. I mean, you'll have somebody stand up and you can push them right up balance. You put this in their hand and it's like they're Superman. What's going on there? Why is that working that way?
It's got 2 hours.
Just show it. Just demo it.
Well, basically, we are all a biomechanical entity, and bones and joints move by muscles moving them. Joints go out of them. This is kind of leads into a lecture about chiropractic, but joints go out of alignment from the birth process on. When a joint goes out of alignment, if we're healthy, the body corrects it and there's not a problem. But when it gets stuck, it's called a subluxation. That's what chiropractors treat. The body's response to a subluxation, the brain goes, okay, I have this mechanical problem, that joint isn't moving properly and I can't fix it. So I'm going to turn some muscles on and keep them contracted all the time to guard that area. But if I do that, I'm going to have to turn other muscles off so that I don't hurt myself. If you observe, if we all stood up and looked at each other, stand in line at the grocery store or the bank and start observing, you'll see people have one shoulder high, one ear high, one hip high, and they've adapted these patterns. The body's trying to keep us out of pain and keep us mobile. So if you take somebody with all these muscles that are on and off and muscle test them, you're going to find a, quote, weakness, which is really just the muscle being off. You're going to find weaknesses in the people. And the little old lady, her muscles are, they've been guarding for 80 years and she's never had any kind of structural help, so she's going to be weak. When you put something in contact with the human body that is good for it, it has a response in the muscles, and those muscles will temporarily all turn on, and so she appears to be stronger. It's basically all the muscles are firing because something good just happened to her body.
I should have said. Okay.
You should use someone
Can you
who's
hold
never
that
tried it.
So if we're going to muscle test, and if I just want to check and make sure the computer's working right, I'll just ask somebody to resist for me, and when you resist, it's not a fight for strength. We just want to feel the muscle turn on. I'll touch the back of my hand to the forehead, and then turn it over, and the muscle will go off. And that is purely an electrical response. Our bodies are electrical. If they hook you up to a heart monitor, a little machine goes beep, beep, it's reading electricity in our body. If you have a thought to move a muscle, the message goes to your nervous system as an electrical message. So, being that we are electrical, the back part of our body is usually negative, the front part is positive. So if I touch my negative to his positive, the muscle responds by being on, and if I touch positive to positive, the muscle turns off. And that's basically how muscle testing works. So if somebody was sick, okay,
Cheater.
so I'm just going to, he may be sick and not even know it. Well, knowing him, he probably is, but just touch right here and here for me. Hold. Okay, and just lay your hand on your chest. Okay, so there's something a little going on here, and maybe catching a cold, something in his chest. So if, touch again. So that definitely goes off, and I've never done this with Illumina on a reflex point like that, but
Yes.
it makes a huge difference. So that's pretty good.
Here, keep that in your pocket.
Because this is supposed to be for your immune system, and then in my practice I use several different nutritional companies, but I would take one that I know really boosts the immune system and test it, but he's still off. But if he takes that, it's...
That's wild.
Yeah.
Now tell me this, talking about the whole business in general, you said something about, what attracted you to this business, and you mentioned George and I talking to you about it.
Mhm.
Tell us how important that is in terms of, this is a product that we can talk to anybody about. Everybody needs this product. I mean, there's not another water unit on the market that does what this does. I mean, this does everything. And there are so many people that are in desperate need of this product. But when you share it with somebody, how important is it in that, we call it relationship marketing really, how important is that relationship? In other words, if somebody just came in your practice cold that you didn't know versus talking to George, what would the difference have been?
Well, totally. How many of you have been in some kind of direct sales before? Yeah, so we've all pretty much met the same challenges. You can't show any product to somebody who isn't looking. But we are in a, like I said, with these products, you're going to be around people all the holiday season. You're going to see people you haven't seen in a while. The topic of somebody's health is going to come up, and all you have to do is, you know, mention, I've got some information you might be interested in. How about after New Year's I get a hold of you? So the door's open. I mean, like I said, this is such a simple business. We have simple products that do fantastic things. We have a topic of interest that everybody's going to talk about.